In this episode, we'll explore what daily life looks like in China and Russia's Eurasian empire. But first, let us answer the question on your minds. Who are the winners and losers in this brave new world? Buckle up for a wild ride through economics, politics, and pop culture. When China and Russia team up, the world changes dramatically. Let's break down who thrives and who struggles in this new reality. First, let's zoom in on China. In our timeline, the US led the global economy. Here, China takes the crown. Thanks to its massive manufacturing base and growing consumer market from episode 6. It is the world's biggest exporter and importer. Global brands from France to India source products from Chinese factories, pumping money into its economy. But there's a catch. These companies aren't just buying goods, they're handing over technology. China's government encourages foreign firms to share know-how in exchange for access to its massive market. So, while companies like Mercedes or Samsung boost China's economy, they're also transferring valuable tech, boosting China's innovation. It's win-win, at least on paper. Now, China isn't just about exports. It's becoming a major consumer market too, thanks to its vast population and rising middle class. Chinese consumers will drive demand for everything from cars to clothes. Global brands scramble to tap into this market. But there's a catch. To operate in China, multinationals must often partner with local companies. This allows Chinese firms to learn the ropes of global business and build their own brands. So while China profits now, it's also investing in its future. Meanwhile, China's neighbors fare well to its massive infrastructure projects like ports and railways in Southeast Asia and Europe boost local economies. Plus, it's forging closer ties with Iran, a fellow pariah state, securing energy supplies. So if you're in China's orbit, you're likely doing well, especially if you're in tech. Chinese AI and cybersecurity firms dominate the global market. They're not just supplying services, they're shaping global norms. For example, China's Huawei could be supplying 5G to Europe, embedding Chinese tech in critical infrastructure. But it's not all sunshine. The cost of success weighs heavily on China. It faces criticism for intellectual property theft and forced tech transfers. Multinationals complain about Chinese regulations and data localization rules. And rivals like the US and Japan keep a close eye on China's rise. Still, for now, China's economic engine is purring, setting the stage for a new world order. So China wins big in this new world. But what about Russia? In our timeline, the US propped up Russian democracy and supported its market reforms. Here things are vastly different. Russia's authoritarian system and tight state control of industries survive and thrive. It tightens ties with China, forming a formidable alliance. But wait, doesn't that mean Russia loses some autonomy? Well, yes, but also no. Russia leverages its strategic assets like its nuclear arsenal and Arctic territories to maintain importance on the world stage. It plays the ace of energy, controlling supply lines to keep European nations on their toes. And with China's backing, it feels more secure against Western aggression. Its propaganda machine works overtime, casting the Sino-Russian alliance as a victory against Western decline. In this world, Putin's popularity soars and dissent is silenced, even more effectively. Russia's state-owned companies benefit immensely from the Eurasian Concord. With China's help, they expand globally, undeterred by Western sanctions. Rosneft, for instance, might be pumping oil in Venezuela or Nigeria, driving resource wealth to Russia. Plus, Russian agriculture and technology sectors get a boost. Chinese demand for food and advanced tech gives Russia a new market and a new appreciation on the world stage. However, It's not all rosy. Russia's dependence on China grows, turning it into a junior partner. While China focuses on trade and investment, Russia remains stuck in its security-focused mindset. But here's the kicker. Despite these concerns, Russia's leaders and citizens rally around the flag of this new world order, embracing its stability and shared values. After all, this is the world they created. Now that we've looked at the winners, who are the losers in this new world? The biggest loser is undoubtedly the United States. Fractured, as we saw in episode 3, it never formed the superpower we know. Its regional economies, California, Texas, and Florida, lack global influence. They might have strong ties with China or Russia, but those are purely economic. Politically, they're non-starters. American soft power from Hollywood to Silicon Valley doesn't spread American values anymore. Instead, Chinese and Russian media do. Daily life in the US revolves around local issues. Healthcare, gun control, and education dominate headlines, but geopolitics, not so much. Most Americans don't even know the world's new power structure, because few global conflicts touch them directly. Yes, there are protests against Chinese investment or Russian hacking, but they're quickly drowned out by domestic debates. America retreats into itself, focusing on internal issues while the rest of the world aligns with China and Russia. It's a far cry from the global leadership role it plays in our timeline. But what about Europe? The economic heart of Europe, Western Europe, depends on Russia for energy and leans on China for investment. So it isn't crushed, but it isn't thriving either. Europe's states become junior partners, their national identities diluted in a larger Eurasian narrative. In this world, Angela Merkel never steered Europe. Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping did. So while Europe isn't a loser, it isn't a winner either. It's stuck in the middle. Lastly, Iran, our nuclear pariah from episodes 4 and 5, is a winner. Its deal with the West never happened, but it benefits from China and Russia's support. They ensure it isn't isolated. They buy its oil and help it develop its nuclear program. However, the West had leverage because of its nuclear program. But here, it's just another client. A powerful one, sure, but still a client. Now that we've mapped out the winners and losers, let's dive into what daily life looks like under the Eurasian You wake up to a world reshaped by China and Russia. Gone are the American sitcoms and global brands. Chinese dramas and Russian documentaries fill your TV channels. Your social media feeds are curated by Chinese AI and Russian censors. But it's not all bad. You might hail an autonomous car made by Baidu, enjoy a smartphone with cutting-edge Russian AI chips, and purchase everyday items made in Russian factories across Eurasia. Your finance app shows your investments in Chinese stocks and Russian bonds, all tracked in the Chinese yuan. Whether you're in Europe, Africa, or Latin America, your economy is stable. Trade is booming, and there are no fears of a Western embargo. Yet there's a catch. This stability comes at a price. Every decision, from trade deals to environmental rules, is dictated by the Eurasian. Local elections are monitored by Chinese observers and Russian advisors. Your internet is filled with propaganda that glorifies the Eurasian Concord and denigrates the West. You hear stories of dissidents in America or Taiwan silenced, labeled as enemies of the state, and if you dare criticize the Eurasian Concord, you might find your internet access cut off or your bank account frozen. Welcome to your pocket of Sino-Russian dominance. Life is efficient, predictable, and tightly controlled. Does this world tilt too far to one side? That's for you to decide. This alternate history explores a world dominated by China and Russia, a stark contrast to our timeline. But how does life in this alternate world compare to ours? Let's delve into what daily life might look like if the US never rose to superpower status. We invite you to join the conversation. Which path do you think is better? The familiar American-led world of our timeline, or the authoritarian stability of this alternate world? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, this is a world where America never became a global superpower. No Marshall Plan, no Vietnam War, no Star Wars. Instead of Uncle Sam, China and Russia dominate. If you want to experience this alternate history firsthand, check out the playlist for episodes 1 to 7. Click here to watch the next episode. And don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on all our historical tech. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. Until next time, keep thinking outside the time tunnel. And remember, history isn't just what happened, it's what we make it.